Right? Well, that quiet. One more minute. That got slow. This minute and show good. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, September 2nd joint meeting of the Sugarland Development Corporation and the Sugarland 4B Corporation. 4B will join us after our orientation and just before the workshop. Please remember that Robert's Rules of Order are in effect and that you must be recognized to speak and also for follow-up questions. And then when 4B joins us, since we do have some overlap, I will be the one recognizing council members and Steve will be one recognizing civilians. So do we have anybody who signed up for public comment?
No one signed up.
No one. Okay, thank you. Number 4, orientations. Sugarland Development Corporation. A, review of and discussion on purpose, roles, responsibilities, and functions of Sugarland Development Corporation. We have Jennifer Alexander, Business Development Manager, and Kobe Millenbrook, Business Recruitment Manager. And
Alba.
Pinate Johnson.
So good afternoon. I wanted to introduce Colby. This will be his first presentation to the board. So as we do in the past, we just want to tell you a little bit about Colby. He is originally from Kansas City and got his degree in economics from Texas A&M, of course. Started his career at the Greater Brazos Partnership, and his free time likes to spend time with Lacey and playing Ultimate Frisbee. So with that being said, I know you know Jennifer as well, but they're both going to do the board orientation today, so I'll turn it over to them.
Thank you, Alba, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. As she mentioned, my name is Colby Millenbrook. I'm the Business Recruitment Manager here. I'm happy to speak to you guys today. We're going to give you guys a quick orientation of the Sugarland Development Corporation. But before we get into that, I'm going to give you a background of economic development corporations in Texas. The Development Corporation Act of 1979 allows Texas cities to fund economic development through economic development corporations, or EDCs. The purpose of this is to use a portion of local sales tax revenue to fund projects that create or retain primary jobs. Primary jobs are jobs that assist in the development of goods or services that are then sold outside of the local region. This is important because as primary jobs are attracted to the city, they need somewhere to live, so then the housing demand increases. As the demand for housing increases, so does the demand for grocery stores, retail, dining, and as all of those start popping up, those primary jobs have a place to spend their money. And as they spend their money, the city collects sales tax and property tax, which it can then reinvest into the attraction of primary jobs. Thus, the economic development cycle continues. EDCs are governed by the Texas Local Government Code, and Type A corporations are overseen by a board of directors. Looking at the budgetary impact, sales tax is the largest revenue source in the general fund at 42% of total revenues, followed by property taxes, which are the second largest at 34%. Takeaway here is that economic development plays a vital role in funding quality of life, infrastructure, and community amenities. In 2024, there were 188 Type A EDCs reported. These nonprofits can collect up to a half-cent of sales tax dedicated to funding economic development. These 188 Type A EDCs collectively accrued over $550 million of sales tax revenue. That revenue can then fund land, buildings, equipment, facilities expenditures, and targeted infrastructure and improvements for projects including manufacturing and industrial facilities, infrastructure improvements that promote or develop newer expanded business enterprises, research and development facilities, regional or national corporate headquarters, and aviation facilities. Type A corporations may issue bonds, notes, and other contractual obligations to fund their projects. They can also spend up to 10% of their funding on marketing expenditures. This is important because marketing Sugar Land can attract new businesses, showcase the city's amenities, and help expand economic development opportunities. Type A funds can also be used on Type B projects, which are quality of life focused, if authorized by the voters. An example of this would be Smart Financial Center. Looking forward, I'd like to introduce Jennifer Alexander, our Business Development Manager, to give an overview of the Sugar Land Development Corporation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Jennifer Alexander, for those of you who don't know me. A little bit on the Sugar Land Development Corporation. The corporation was approved by the Sugar Land voters in 1993. The SLDC's role is to promote, attract, and retain these primary employers here in Sugar Land. We have 5 target industries: advanced manufacturing, business and professional services, information technology, life sciences, which is our newest target industry, and then tourism, which is supported by Visit Sugar Land. 7 members of the SLDC are City Council and the Mayor, and then 1/4 of every sales tax dollar goes to Type A funding. We have some SLDC projects here. We have some of our high profile projects, the Central Prison Unit acquisition, Smart Financial Center, improvements to Sugar Land Town Square, and then a little on our direct incentive program. We've incentivized millions of dollars in capital investment. For example, Southwest Waters, which is Nexus, they're here in Sugar Land Town Square. CVR Energy is in Sugar Land Town Square as well, and then Accredo Packaging, which is in our business park. Our funds are protected, which is great. All of our performance agreements have clawback provisions, job and salary requirements included. So should they not meet those requirements, they will be reduced. We have various percentages and ratios in the agreements where we would go back and reduce those payments that go to them. And then should an agreement be terminated due to company breach, the incentive payments should be repaid with interest. Board expectations, again, there's 7 members of the City Council that serve as the Board of Directors. Annually, you elect a president and a vice president, and the terms are concurrent with the City Council term of office. Oversight and operations, we follow the Open Meetings Act and Public Information Acts. This is of course guided by City Council direction and policies. The city manager or designee, which is equivalent to the general manager, provides day-to-day operational support, so staffing, admin, legal, and financial support. And then there is a budget that is approved annually. City Council also has to approve this. All expenditures are approved via resolution, and then public hearings and legal notices are also required for projects. We have some important dates. The SLDC board meets on the first Tuesday of every month at 4 p.m. We have our Economic Development Committee appointments that happen in June, budget workshop in July, August, officer elections in August, and then the budget approval in August, September. And then annually, we will present you all with an annual report with all of our findings from the year, which is very thorough and detailed. Some key takeaways again, the SLDC is here to create, retain, and expand our primary employers here in Sugar Land. The focus is on job creation, high quality employment, and economic growth. Type A funding is voter approved. Again, this was approved in 1993. We provide financial incentives relating to businesses, infrastructure, capital investment. We want to increase employment opportunities and strengthen the local tax base. And then lastly, all of our agreements ensure transparency, accountability, and then we measure our economic impact. Any question? Also, in front of you have a binder which has the bylaws, articles of incorporation, some key information for you all, and we will be sending that electronically.
Yeah, question, Rob?
Yeah, awesome. So what are our ongoing priorities right now in terms of attracting and promoting and retaining businesses? Like what would you say our main focus is today?
So again, we go back to our 5 target industries. We've had these target industries since before I was here. I would say, I don't know, maybe even 8 years ago. That's when Atlas showed up here. We went through in 2021, I believe it was Newmark, and they came through and they did an analysis to make sure like, hey, this is what you were competitive in organically. A lot of these things we've kind of, Sugar Land is very close to Houston, right? So it all goes back to this kind of has happened organically, but we focus on those target industries. I focus on retention and expansion. Colby focuses on recruitment. We do a lot of these efforts through marketing, right? We have panel opportunities, all these different things that really showcase who we are and tell our story. And then again, we go on mission trips and different conferences and essentially we put Sugar Land on the map that way.
Anybody else? No? Thank you very much. Is that the end of the?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. At this point, I'd like to invite, and allow Steve to convene the meeting.
I'm gonna convene the meeting for Sugar Land 4B Corporation. We're reviewing a resolution consideration. Oh, okay, I'll just call it to order.
Okay, so item number 5, workshop. This is a joint workshop, if you'd like to participate. Review of and discussion on the FIFA World Cup 2026 host city supporter agreement. And we have Allison Brooks, Assistant Director of Tourism. Allison.
See you all again. Again, my name is Allison Brooks. I'm the Assistant Director of Tourism. I oversee the Visit Sugar Land Division. And I am here again to talk to you guys about the World Cup 2026, our host city supporter agreement between us, FIFA, and the Houston host city. So just a reminder, we are the Destination Management Organization, or the DMO, for the city of Sugar Land. We represent this city's tourism arm, and our purpose is to attract visitors to the city and help bring positive experiences once they're here. And as a reminder, Visit Sugar Land is funded directly by the hotel occupancy tax, which is 7% collected on hotel room rent. And we attract visitors by marketing Sugar Land as a great place to live, visit, and do business, by promoting our key venues, hotels, and businesses to attract larger audiences, and helping attract, plan, and support conferences and events that benefit our local hotels and local attractions. So to review the opportunity we have is a sponsorship package, $2.5 million, funded over the 3 fiscal years, 25, 26, and 27, and also split between the 3 funding sources between our hotel occupancy tax and both corporations. And I know we talked a lot about this before, but just to review an overview of the World Cup, it's set to be the largest sporting event in history, and it's also FIFA's largest World Cup, spanning 3 countries, 16 host cities, with 104 matches and 39 days. And Houston is set to host 7 of those matches, beginning June 14th. So Houston is looking to gain more than $1.5 billion in projected economic impact from hosting those 7 games. Officials have likened the economic and operation scale of those 7 games to that equivalent of hosting 7 Super Bowls in just 20 days. So there is about 500,000 fans expected to enter the city. Overall, with the games, we're looking at 6.5 million fans overall across the 3 countries, with 3.7 million fans of those expected to attend those matches in the US. And just also as reference for the last final match in the last World Cup, there was a live viewership audience of 1.5 billion for scale. So like I said, we have been working with the host committee to develop main goals to leverage the events for our city. So with that, we've came up with these 4 overarching goals for us. So we have brand and destination awareness, hot and sales tax generation, community engagement, and airport activation. And as you all know, earlier this year, the city developed a strategic action plan, and supporting developing a World Cup strategy was part of that action plan. So this partnership supports 3 of the 5 strategic outcomes areas under stimulating economic growth, boosting community reputation, and encouraging community. Just reviewing some of the benefits we receive with the agreement. One of the biggest advantages of this agreement is the marketing power that comes with it. So these are the benefits that Sugar Land simply cannot access without the agreement. So that includes official branding rights. So the right to use official host city supporter logos and marks. That means we can use these joint logos on our campaigns, signage, experiences here in Sugar Land. Example, if we host a fan fest in Town Square, the event can officially carry that joint branding, making it more attractive to sponsors and fans. We also have co-branded marketing rights, which allows us to launch those joint campaigns with the host committee. So instead of Sugar Land marketing on its own, we're aligned with the world's biggest sporting brand.
Listen, do you want us to save questions for the end of your presentation, or do you want to take them during?
If we can save them to the end, that would be great. Thank you for asking. And then inclusion in the host committee marketing means that as the host committee promotes Sugar Land, Houston will be part of, promotes Houston, Sugar Land will be part of those official campaigns. So we'll be listed on the host city website, featured across host committee social media channels, and even visible in the official FIFA app. That's the same app that millions of fans around the world use to follow the matches and plan their trips. Our regional airport will also be featured as an official transportation option. So a fan in Germany or Brazil looking at match options could see Sugar Land highlighted as part of the host city experience. We also have a lot of opportunities through PR and advertising through international campaigns. So that means when Houston's promoted globally, Sugar Land is a part of the story. So we're not just riding along, showcased as a top destination in front of millions of potential visitors and businesses. This is just a mock-up of a joint branding we have with both of the logos. And as a reminder, we would have the ability to promote ourselves through our Visit Sugar Land website. We'd be able to have a dedicated landing page that says FIFA World Cup 2026. We can completely tailor it to fans looking for resources and things to do in our city, which is another avenue for us to drive business drive visitors to our local business. One of the things we're really excited about of this agreement is destination exclusivity. So we would be the only destination within a 26 county radius, essentially granted access to all of the privileges that you hear me talking about within this presentation. We would also receive a seat on the Houston Host Committee Board, as well as a seat on one of the 3 host committee boards. And that just reinforces our connectivity with the host committee and allows us to explore further opportunities to integrate our city into these events as opportunities arise. This is just another mock-up of the fan festival in East Downtown. So this is the official fan festival for Houston that serves as the official viewing party and fan hub. Our agreement grants us exclusive activation in the fan fest space. That includes promotional and advertising opportunities. And here you can see our logo. This is just an example of the stage and stage advertising. So for our hotels, while we will get some organic demand by our proximity to the events, having an official affiliation opens us up for even more possibilities and really allows us to maximize our hotel revenues. So having planned events in our city allows us to increase guest length of stay, keeping them here in our city for longer, allowing them to spend their dollars right here in our city. And that increased demand equals increased revenue for our hotels. Also, with the agreement, that official affiliation increases our visibility with meeting and travel planners. So as they're looking for reputable options to place groups and events. So think media and broadcast crews, fan blocks, security personnel, sponsors and corporate partners with FIFA, such as Adidas, Coca-Cola, Budweiser. People are also looking for VIP receptions, branded activations, looking to host client hospitality events. All of these groups are looking for space, and we have that space to provide them within our hotels. Some past examples of this during Super Bowl that we had were Hyatt Place hosted ESPN's media team, and we had Maxim had a full buyout of Smart Financial for a party as well. This is also a great opportunity for our venues to host World Cup related events. So some examples of that could look like an official host committee event at one of our venues, official FIFA watch parties, targeted activations such as youth soccer clinics at Constellation Field, or an opportunity to integrate World Cup programming into some of our Space Cowboys games. So not only do these events generate money for our venues, but it helps them attract more of these events in the future by showcasing their ability to host these large scale events. And at the same time, it opens up opportunities for partnerships and sponsorships to give local businesses a chance to get their name in front of those visitors' audiences. And our venues really rely on their corporate partnerships and sponsorships. We've been working with our major tourism partners in different areas of the city, and some areas we would look to activate would be Sugar Land Town Square, First Colony Mall, Smart Financial Center, Constellation Field, and our regional airport. And just a couple of examples of possible activations, like I mentioned, would be watch parties, a local Sugar Land Fan Fest, events at our major venues, pop-up visitor centers, and media events. Those are just a couple of examples. And of course, I can't talk about our partners without talking about our airport. So the airport wouldn't be included as part of the overall transportation plans for the Houston region. And it would, we would be featured on the official the official FIFA app as a transportation option for private visitors for our airport. And also, every traveler coming through the airport has potential to generate economic impact. So by serving as the first touch point, really it just allows us to extend their stay in our city and influence their spend to position Sugar Land as more than just an airport stop. So an example of what we could do at the airport is a temporary visitor hub. So think about walking off of your plane and to visit Sugar Land Welcome Center, complete with maps, friendly staff directing you to resources, different businesses and attractions in our city, our local restaurants, shops, before they head anywhere else to, places like Stafford or Houston or the surrounding cities. As you guys will see in the next couple of days, Visit Sugar Land has been collaborating pretty closely with our airport, and we will continue to do so to make sure those visitors arriving via air, creating that welcome experience for them. Here we have our letters of support. As I mentioned, we've been working with a lot of our major partners. A lot of our partners will also be in attendance today at our council meeting to show their support and excitement for our involvement in the partnership. So we just have some letters. I think you guys have them in your packet as well if you'd like to reference them. But overall, we're just very excited to see this level of support from them and excitement, and they are also excited. Local business involvement. So this is essentially the sub-sponsorship opportunities that we talked about. So this creates a way for major employers and partners to be involved by making that financial contribution. They can have access to some of those exclusive tickets that we have, access to hospitality spaces and promotional opportunities within our events at Sugar Land. So this helps us offset our costs while also giving businesses a platform to be involved in the celebrations. So just imagine a major Sugar Land healthcare or life science company hosting prospective investors or site collectors during the World Cup. They could invite them to a World Cup match in Houston with VIP hospitality access, so an exclusive experience that cannot be available for purchase. And at the same time, their brand could be visible at our Sugar Land watch party, connecting them with both the local community and international visitors. So these opportunities are not only great for our partners, but it also creates high impact experiences that showcase Sugar Land's quality of life and access to Houston's global market. We already have businesses and some regional partners showing interest, which tells us that this is the right direction, and they see the World Cup as a platform, not just for the city, but also for their own growth and visibility. So we're excited to talk to them further once the agreement is finalized. So in summary, this partnership aligns with the Visit Sugar Land and the city. If we do not capitalize on this opportunity, we will not have that exclusivity, and other DMOs and other cities will capitalize on this. So this really establishes a framework for our city's involvement, as really the catalyst to allow us to begin planning and to be fan ready. And with that, I will take any questions.
Okay, Jim, you asked first.
Yeah, Allison, great job. I think you answered this question. We're going to ask you just to make sure. This relationship will be exclusive. Once we sign up, nobody else will have it. They're not going to have multiple host cities.
That's correct. So we would be the only city municipality DMO in a 26 county territory radius that would have the host city supporter agreement.
Thank you.
follow up to that. So is that written in the contract? I thought there was a non-exclusivity term in the contract.
That it is a negotiation that we have directly with the Houston Host Committee, whereas the agreement that we have is also governed by FIFA. Does that make sense?
So it's a verbal agreement?
It's not a verbal agreement. It's a written agreement directly with the Houston Host City Committee. So it's an agreement directly with us and the Houston Host Committee. So it's not through FIFA.
The Houston Host Committee cannot go to the Woodland or Pearland and say, hey, we'll offer you this as well. It's a separate agreement because we have this one agreement with FIFA, and then this one is the not exclusivity agreement is separate. So it's kind of like an addendum.
Okay, so we haven't seen that contract yet?
We have, and our legal team has reviewed it and approved it.
No, I mean, everyone in the room today that's voted.
Well,
I don't think I saw those terms on the contract that was posted.
well, okay, so we have head of economic development telling us that legal has reviewed the contract and has confirmed that it is exclusive. Yes? Okay. Anybody else, questions? Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, you go ahead.
Just on some of the funding, I looked yesterday and the going 22 days, starting a day early and a day after, all our hotels are already booked. So there's no economic impact from hosting with FIFA to our hotels. They're all, every Marriott, the Hyatt, they're all already booked. So there's no, we got that for free. We talked too about a 4th of July celebration generating revenue. Well, we had a 4th of July celebration at Constellation Field last year that generated money. So just so we're not counting money twice or counting money that's not there.
Our hotels. Can I ask where you saw that they were looked at, or they?
I just went online.
Yeah, so a lot of our hotels, if you're not able to book because they have restrictions on their inventory, so their inventory over this time frame is actually protected because they have strategy in place with their revenue management teams to have length of stay restrictions on their rate restrictions. So that inventory actually is very rarely going to be bookable by the general public. So that's probably why you're not able to book it.
And that's part of, we talk in here, I'm sorry, can I follow? Sorry. That we talk about people staying like they come here for a watch party and getting a room. Those rooms aren't gonna be here. They're not gonna be available. I mean, people that show up on the 28th of June for a watch party, there's not going to be 150 hotel rooms available. And it's no big deal. I
So
just feel like we're counting the money twice.
I think it's important to point out that we are going to get organic demand from Houston. People are going to come, right? Whether we do anything or not, whether we just sit back and don't do an agreement. There is opportunity to get premium business with the affiliation. So going back to what I mentioned about like travel planners are looking for places to put these groups and they need event space and things like that. So we will get some of that demand, but having the affiliation and also events and experiences in our city allow us to charge those higher rates and increase that ADR and that RevPAR and really maximize that revenue for our hotel. And we would be open to opportunities that we wouldn't necessarily get without this. So those things like fan experiences, personnel blocks, media crews, people are looking for hotels outside the area of Houston to look for reputable options to place those groups. So like I said, we will get demand naturally, but this allows us a strategic way to really maximize that demand.
And to add to that, our hotels have those rooms blacked out right now. No one can book them. The only ones that are able to is Space Cowboys because they have an agreement with the Marriott for the visiting team. So they will have rooms no matter what, but they will be at their negotiated rate, which is a lot lower than everyone else is gonna pay. NetJets is another frequent flyer that spends a lot of time at our Marriott hotels. So those teams that already have contracts and agreements with the hotels for 26, they know that their hotel rooms are safe. They're gonna have their agreed upon rates, et cetera. Everyone else, if you went to travel.com, whatever it might have been, Expedia, or even to the Marriott, it's gonna show blacked out because they're thinking about strategy. They're looking at demand to see, hey, can we sell this room for $500 a night, or can we sell it for 700 or 900, depending on what the demand is. So the general public, unless cannot book those rooms yet, they usually release them about 6 months out or so. So we're not there yet. So you'll start to see, but I encourage you to continue to check. And for Super Bowl, for instance, we made $90,000 more in hot revenue without any kind of sponsorship or anything like that. And so I think this is a huge opportunity to have 7 Super Bowls in 21 days, essentially. So we will see, like she said, organic, but right now the general public cannot book hotel rooms because they're not on the market.
Sanjay?
Yeah, is it possible to build a table of potential benefit and quantifying them? Like last time in the presentation, this was discussed that for HOT tax, you expect 100,000 more or whatever amount more, 10,000 more, 20,000. Similarly, in different categories. So we see what are we getting as a return of 2.5 million. Something like you said will come anyway, like hotel rooms might be full whether we do it or not, like in Super Bowl. But we would like to see what is the additional which will come as a result of spending this 2.5 million. Is it possible to do something like that?
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of the tricky part. So while we have many tools that we can use to project that economic impact, it varies widely based on what events we're doing. And we have not, the approval of this agreement is really the catalyst to allow us to start those planning things. So that is why we modeled out certain scenarios of like what it could look like. So I think the notes that you guys received have a couple of examples where we did a fan fest in Town Square, and we modeled out what that could look like as far as local spend and hotel nights and things like that. We modeled some earned media, which is another huge one. I think the potential earned media alone is going to surpass that 2.5 million with the regional, local, international exposure on the PR and media level. So it's very difficult to tie a specific number. It all really is dependent on what we're doing it, where we're doing it, how many events we have going on.
I understand it may be too early, but when you go into the planning for the event, if you commit to at least developing this and presenting to City Council at some stage, I think it is important for you to also know where to focus your effort so that you have some kind of measurement. I know it won't be exact, but some kind of measurement in terms of what benefit you got. And just a follow-up point was that, do you, in the same thing, if you have a target about sponsorship amount, which you are expecting to get, if you can put a target there also.
Yeah, so we do plan to track economic impact. We are looking at getting an economic impact study done to really understand what that looks like, and like you said, the best areas of opportunity for us. And then the projected goal for our sub-sponsorships is 1 million. And like I said, we have talked to some of our regional partners and employers who are interested in partnering with us for those sub-sponsorship opportunities.
Anybody else? Wow.
I think how to phrase this. So with the 2.5 million, kind of to follow up on Sanjay's point, with how we're spending it, I'm trying to think how to phrase or how to view this. Are we looking at it as purely marketing and the return on investment is really not important? Are we looking at this as an investment in the city and we're expecting a return on investment? Or is this just a nice ticket purchase and we're getting some extra marketing to go with it? Like, how should we view this as both the public and as the council?
There's 2 major parts to the agreement. There is the marketing side, which is a huge chunk. It is our visibility, our reputation, it's how we get earned media through PR and things like that, as well as advertising. So there's the marketing bucket, and then there's also the opportunity that we have to support our local businesses and also our venues and our hotels, right? So us planning these events and these activations, like we need vendors for these events. So that helps our local businesses. We need we need. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. We need, when we're planning these venues, like it helps all of our businesses, right? It has a ripple effect through the community. So by us having events at Town Square, we are generating parking, we're generating food and beverage spend. I'm sorry, Smart Financial Center for the parking, sales tax, we're generating hot tax. So there's many aspects to like supporting our hotels because we are in turn bringing more visitors to the city on top of what's already going to be here. And we're just amplifying what they would already get organically, right? So they might not get the same opportunities to host things like at Town Square or Smart or Constellation, or even some of our non-traditional venues like Houston Museum of Natural Science at Sugar Land. They have offerings as well. So having the affiliation and being involved with the host committee and even having that seat on the board really puts us as the top choice outside of Houston for opportunities that are coming up. So to answer your question, yes, there's the marketing bucket, which is really big for us. And I think that's where we're going to see a really big return on our investment. But then there's also supporting our businesses and bringing that extra income in for them. And also the assets that we have through the ticketing and hospitality assets, if they're buying into the sub-sponsorship, it can help them achieve their branding and promotional goals as well, right? Because they're tapping in to these international audiences that they might not be otherwise able to target, right? If they have branding opportunities, for example, we have an event at Town Square and we have sponsors for that event, right? And one of our healthcare companies wants to be a sponsor at that event. It puts them in front of new audiences and allows them different avenues to get their brand recognized. Same thing as a Smart Financial. Let's say we're having an event there and we need sponsors for that event. We're also creating those relationships with our venues who rely on those partnerships and those sponsorships. So that could lead to other future opportunities for them to get more partners and sponsorships and to sell their suites and those premium tickets and things like that.
Yes.
So talk about marketing. So performance terms for marketing, what are they within this contract? I know when I reviewed it, it was kind of not very discreet or set in stone. Whereas obviously the payment terms for when and how we pay and when are obviously very clear in the contract. So what, again, with what we're spending, what are we getting from the marketing standpoint, from the media? And how are we, like you said earlier, all performance agreements have clawback terms. Obviously this one does because there's really nothing in force. So what are we getting from the media standpoint, this contract?
This one doesn't have a clawback because it's a sponsorship agreement. It's completely different than a business who's creating jobs, capital investment, investing in our community, planting their roots and growing. Very, very different. We've had one company who left and they paid us back with interest because they left before the end of their term of their agreement. So clawback provisions are more in the sense of a traditional economic development. This is marketing. This is a sponsorship agreement. This is us paying to have our name and our brand out there and telling our story and selling our city. So that it's not apples to apples.
It's just hard to visualize because in our point, like we've done other public events, whether it's campaigning or other things, and obviously you sponsor a booth, you have some expectations, whether it meets or not is one other conversation. It's just hard to formulate those expectations when it's not being properly communicated.
I mean, we do have some of the deliverables are outlined in the contract, such as like the ticketing access that we will receive, right? And then the ability to use joint logos and the ability to be included on the official FIFA app and the website and all of the marketing efforts through the host city campaign. So there are outlines of things that are included, but as far as like specific hard numbers for marketing, that I think like Elizabeth said, like that's not something that we would typically add or that you would see in here, but is one of the reasons why we modeled out those scenarios for you guys to understand like what some of those examples could look like.
Okay, so let me weigh in on this one. Marketing is fuzzy, but it's amazing how all the big companies do it, isn't it? But it's fuzzy. We know that. I happen to think that $2.5 million, less whatever we'll get as a co-sponsorship, is a bargain. It's a huge bang for the buck. You know, we do a lot of things, we spend a lot of money on things that will make our city continue to fly. We're spending $5 million to knock down Floor building. And that's gonna help us build those homes, build out Lake Point. Here is $2.5 million less, whatever we're gonna get in the co-sponsorships for international recognition. Except for Antarctica, there's not a continent on this earth that doesn't have a relative living in Sugar Land, and I dare say hundreds of thousands, okay? Sugar Land is going, this is going, you know, we talk about what's the future of our city and why do we even live here? There are things that we do here in Sugar Land that people say that, you know, it's not gonna work. This town square, people, no, it's not gonna work. Lake Point, it's not gonna work. Hell, we've been working on Imperial. But the stuff gets done and it works. Constellation, Smart Financial. Sugar Land is a place where stuff actually happens, where we make magic happen. And sometimes we have to be bold. Now, if you're gonna be bold with dollars, my preference is that we be bold with sales tax dollars, because a goodly percentage of our sales tax dollars doesn't even come from Sugar Land residents. What else is important is these are our development corporation sales tax dollars. It's not like we can use them to reduce our property taxes or use them to help our residents who are in need or who are experiencing financial difficulties. This is all to keep. This money is all to keep our city vibrant. What could make our city more vibrant than being on the international stage? I mean, if you live in Nigeria and you're coming here to see a game and you want to know where to book a hotel, Sugar Land, because that's where stuff's happening. Especially if you can't find one downtown in Houston, I'm going to do my stuff in Sugar Land because I know that that's a brand name now. So I don't know about you all, but I've been on council for this long and I've been on SLDC for this long and SL4B. And I don't think I've ever found anything that is even remotely as impactful as this $2.5 million. And by the way, everything costs $1 million, okay? Everything costs $1 million. Yes, sir.
To follow on to that, as Stuart said, marketing dollars are always fuzzy. They're hard to quantify a return before you spend the dollars. Once we spend the dollars, then we'll see the impact of that and we'll be able to quantify this is what we got for that money we spent. But it's always true with marketing. You don't know what you're going to get until after you spend the dollars. So to try to assign a dollar value to this, like, I know if I build that house over there, I'm gonna be able to sell it for X amount and I'm gonna have a profit. You can't do that with marketing dollars. And then equally, if not more important, this is an opportunity that's fallen into our lap that helps us achieve a couple of our key strategic initiatives that prior council approved. But it was also a strategic plan that not only was it approved by council, but it was a culmination of a body of work that included staff, it included city council members, and included members of the public. So this those are strategic initiatives that were developed by this large group of people, approved by council, and this project has fallen into our lap that's going to allow us to meet a couple of those key objectives. So I think that combined with the just the international exposure we will get from these marketing efforts. I'm with Stuart, it's a no-brainer. This is the best investment we will ever make in the city. It's the best investment we've made since the beginning of our city. It's a huge, and if you don't know anything about FIFA, if you're not a FIFA fan, if you're not a soccer fan, and many of us in the United States are not, I am not, but I know enough people that are, that these people are nuts. They sell their house and their firstborn child to attend a match in the World Cup. And I'm not exaggerating. So the exposure we are going to get with this It's not able to be done or duplicated anyplace else. Kudos to you guys for.
Hakeem Olajuwon was the, not Hakeem, what's his name? Not Hakeem,
Rockets, no?
no, the Rockets, the player from China.
Yeah.
Yao Ming. Houston Rockets, #1 basketball team in China. It's the same thing. I gotta ask our city attorney a question. One of our directors had a family health emergency and was hoping to arrive here before the end of the meeting. Is it possible or acceptable to go to item number 7 and then come back and do item number 6?
I'm sure you have the authority to take on.
Right, yeah, sure.
So one thing I heard you say was investment, and when you make that investment, it's gonna be returns over a period of time. Have y'all looked at, is this, I mean, it's a 60-day event, right? But the returns you're looking to, are expecting is over multiple years, I'm assuming?
I think that's a major part of the PR and media exposure is that, yes, it is an investment during the games for the World Cup, but that visibility that Sugar Land is getting, essentially putting us on the map for future site selectors, investors, future residents, our visitors, you know, it's really creating a name for ourselves and just amplifying the direction that we're already going in. You know, our tourism has seen immense growth over the past couple of years, and we have a lot of opportunity to welcome new audiences to our city and really just help shape the narrative of Sugar Land by welcoming new visitors to our city and just showcasing the amazing city that we all know and love.
Well, I like to compare it to when people move to Houston, like getting people to Houston is always like dragging their feet through the mud, right? There's a negative perception of Houston overall. Once people come here, they love it and they never leave. I mean, everyone knows that. And so for me, this is an opportunity to bring exposure to so many different people who maybe have never been to Texas, never been to Houston. And then if they arrive at the Sugar Land Regional Airport and they have the most amazing experience, or they come to one of our events, or they stay at one of our hotels and have exceptional customer service and like, hey, we want to move to Texas. Maybe the first place they look is Sugar Land. If they want to move their business, maybe the first place they look at is Sugar Land because they had such an exceptional experience. And that is our job and our goal every day is to make sure that everyone that comes to our city has the most amazing, exceptional, unforgettable experience. And so this is once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to have that. And so like, will we know in 5 years if 5 residents or 50 residents move here? No, I'm not, unless they call us and say, hey, we had such a great time at FIFA and we love flying into the Sugar Land Regional Airport. Unless they call us and tell us, we're not going to know that. But for me, we have to try.
I just wondering, I think it's a great idea. I was only questioning the hotel revenue source of it. That's all. I think it's a wonderful, just as Stuart and Jim said,
Is there any more questions, Sanjay?
During the period, would we also have some kind of a scheduled flight into the Sugar Land Airport? Because right now it's only the personal charter flights who come in. Do we have some plan to increasing the number of flights coming in? Some discussion with the airlines?
We can't have regular passenger service. We can only have private service, but I guarantee it's going to be wall to wall.
So they saw an increase during Super Bowl and they're preparing for that and ramping up and making sure that they are fully staffed. Like, and then we're working on from like an ambassador standpoint, making sure that we've got more people in the lobby, welcoming guests. Like she said, having an itinerary, visitor guides, etc. But the airport is well aware and have seen the impacts of the Super Bowls and NCAAs, and they know that this is going to be bigger and for longer. And so they've already, like, part of the FY26 budget process has been to prepare themselves for this.
Just as a follow-up on that, during the last Super Bowl, they ran out of space to park private jets at their airport.
Yeah.
That's the demand side on it.
Okay, Rick.
Just a quick comment. I agree with all the comments that you guys, the chairman made and Jim, what you made. I'm assuming that the $2.5 million came from the host committee for us to participate. Is that true?
Any more questions? Yes, Rob.
So one of my reservations is like, if the committee ultimately decides to move forward with this, in the contract, we talk about hosting events in Sugar Land, right? But in the language of the contract, it says shall endeavor to host these events, which means it's not like they have to, it's a nice to have. So is there anything we can do to strengthen up that language in the contract? That way we make sure that we guarantee events in Sugar Land. And that's the key thing that we're trying to do, right? Is benefit and boost what the activity that's happening in Sugar Land. So is there anything we can do to help with that? And then secondly, are these going to be official FIFA sanctioned events? Or are they going to be off-market events? And what's, and could we do something at Town Center, Town Square for each of the games? I didn't see that on the list either. So there's a lot more we can do to benefit Sugar Land with this whole endeavor.
Thanks. So FIFA grants all 16 cities, all 16 cities have an official host committee. So the host committees in each city, such as Houston, are responsible for executing the matches and the experiences in that city. FIFA has, I will say, strict regulations around their program, right? So they grant the host committee the authority to execute those as long as they're within the rules and regulations that FIFA has in place. So our relationship is directly with the Houston host committee. So I want to be clear about that. And when we talk about hosting events in our city, we have spoken with, part of our agreement is that we would be able to host an official Houston host committee event in our city, right? We would have broadcasting licenses, what you're saying for the watch parties. One of the major and main focuses that we're looking at is hosting a fan fest watch party in Town Square for all 7 of those matches. So we would, as an example, we would build some type of infrastructure in Town Square and we would have it activated on match days and have some filler programming in between. But having Town Square activated as like the main hub in our city for that watch party, and think of how can we connect Town Square with First Colony Mall. We're going to have a lot of people staying at our hotels. How can we increase that walkability? And you know, we have Little Woodrow's right here. We have Bar Louie. We have a lot of other opportunities where watch parties are going to be happening. So how can we maximize that? So that is one area that we're looking at doing. So your question on would this be an official FIFA event? It would be an official Houston host committee event through FIFA. So it would be a host committee event, but we would work with the host committee. As an example, we would work with the host committee to host something at Smart Financial Center where we had, you know, a soccer legend come in and give a fireside chat, and we have some soccer themed entertainment happening, and we can secure sponsorships from our local businesses to be a part of that event. Which would be included in those sub-sponsorships that we talked about. So that's helping our businesses, that's helping our venues, and that's also bringing more people into the city. So whether we look to do something like that for a match day, whether it's a private gathering on a non-match day, we don't really have the details of that yet, but it is something that we've talked with that they've agreed to do in the city.
Okay.
I don't know as far as like what venue or things like that though.
Steve and I have agreed to go ahead and reverse items number 7 and number 6.
I'm going to read agenda item number 7, resolution Sugarland 4B Corporation, consideration of an action of Sugarland Development Corporation resolution number SL4B R-25-08, the resolution of the Board of Directors of the Sugarland 4B Corporation approving a request by the City of Sugarland to fund a host city supporter agreement between the Sports Authority Foundation and the City of Sugarland for FIFA World Cup 2026. Have a motion.
Discussion. Just one more
Okay, one more, go ahead.
question.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So then, would those broadcasting agreements, everything else be considered separate from the current contract that we have? Or is that, because I didn't see that anywhere in the contract, is it somehow baked in or?
No, it's included in our agreement.
If we don't have this agreement, we have no rights to broadcast the FIFA games at all.
We have no rights to public watch parties. So like, let's say Talyard wanted to do a watch party at their venue. They could secure those through their broadcasting, whoever, like Fox or whoever streams their stuff. But if we wanted to do, let's say, a public watch party in town square, we would not be able to do that. And FIFA has not determined yet whether they would allow people to purchase or apply for those one-off licenses. So but we would get that included as part of our agreement.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure we're not incurring additional costs or anything if we do it at Constellation or Town Square or anything else.
Yeah, those would only be available at city planned and sanctioned events. So if we did something at Constellation, the rights that the city has to broadcast those like would come with us wherever we have those city planned events.
Alan, do you have a,
Motion to approve.
Second.
all in favor?
Wait, any further discussion?
I'm sorry, any further discussion?
Okay.
Okay,
I guess it's just 4B though, right? I'm sorry.
that's 4B.
4B.
Approved.
Aye.
5 yeas, 1 nay. Motion approved.
Okay, thank you, everyone. And item number 6, resolution Sugar Land Development Corporation, consideration of an action on Sugar Land Development Corporation, resolution number SLDC R2503. A resolution of the Board of Directors of Sugar Land Development Corporation approving a request by the City of Sugar Land to fund a host city support agreement between the Sports Authority Foundation and the City of Sugar Land for a FIFA World Cup 2026, and I will make that motion. Got a second? Who was the first one? Okay, by Miller. Discussion. Okay, show of hands. All in favor, say aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any against? Okay, so passes 5-1. Okay, thank you, Allison. Your feet must be hurting you. All right, so we need a motion to adjourn
All right.
SLDC. And then you need someone to make a
Yes, motion for Harry. Second.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank y'all.
I don't want to see what we want.